All right, everyone. Welcome back to another GoCast. I know it's been a couple of days since my last post. Sorry about that. There's just so many things going on right now, but I have an amazing game for you today because I know the last couple professional casts that I've done, I'm not saying that I'm professional, I'm doing professional Go level gameplays here that I've done. It's always been in the Korean slash Chinese slash, not Chinese, Korean slash Japanese play style, and so I'm really loving how I can see the different styles of play in their games. And so I thought to myself, it's like, hey, why don't we do a Chinese style play today and see the difference in the strategies that is valued in those different cultures and see which one really matches your own playstyle. And so at least I'm curious to know if my playstyle matches more of the Japanese, Korean, or the Chinese. I know there's other playstyles out there, but those are the top three that I can see on the Go4Go website. And so we have a Chinese amateur level game. Okay, so it's not professional. So I kind of lied. It's not professional, but it is an amateur ranking game. And amateur games, if you're very new to the Go community, amateur just means that you haven't gotten your pro card yet. It doesn't mean that you are a weak player by all means. If you go on the Twitch stream channels of Go, all the Dawn level, Clausius, Bats Go, Daniel, MLO1, they're all Dawn level players, but they haven't hit their pro cards yet, or they don't want to pursue the pro cards yet. And because of that, they are still ranked as amateur, even though they're incredibly strong. And so I'm super excited to see, because this is from the 34th annual Wanbao tournament amateur ranking, and this is like the third round for these two players. And so let's get started. So in the top right hand corner we have Yuqing, and I honestly, if I'm butchering that name, I do apologize. I don't speak Chinese, so I might have a very bad pronunciation, but we got Yuqing playing in the top right hand corner, playing as the Black Stones, and we have Zhenyu playing in the top left hand corner, playing the White Stones. Now this is going to be a different variation because these are amateur level games, and so I believe the komi is going to be a little different because they have 7.5. I don't know if there's a difference between the rules, but 7.5 was once originally the old style of games. Or at least back in the day, they had 7.5 komi. Now they're going between 6.5 and 5.5 because we don't really know what the advantage is of going first. But what we see right here is a very passive opening from the Black Stone player, Hugh. Hugh is actually opting to go for a very passive approach, where he did an extension after he played the 3-4 position. Yes, they all took their own respective corner. Zhou playing at the 4-4 position, but he was like, you know what, you can play at the 4-4 position. I'm gonna take the extension right here and just keep it safe. I'm not gonna pry in too much. I'm just gonna lay it back, keep it safe, and then see what happens. But you can see right here, Shao's not having that. Shao's like, you know what, you can play passive all you want. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to start approaching your territory, and I'm going to start making your territory, I'm going to start reducing your territory so that I can take more points. I already have these corners, so to speak. Yes, a 4-4 is somewhat of a weak opening in the case that Hugh comes in with a 3-3 positioning, then Hugh's pretty much going to take the corner. So the 4-4 positioning is a good influential move. It pretty much is like in the middle ground. You don't know what you're going to take, either the corner or the middle of the board, but it's still good. And what we see right here, Zhou is taking that 4-4 position, and Hugh is doing a common Joseki to try to defend the corner itself. So Hugh is pretty much telling Zhou, is like, nope, this is corner of Hugh. I'm going to capture these 10 points right here, 10, 12 points-ish, and you're going to just go elsewhere. But the thing about this game right now is that Zhou is developing a very strong wall right here, or is starting to gain influence on the right hand side of the board. And you can see Zhou is trying to build this wall and pretty much gonna probably entrap this Black Stone right here. So if Zhou really wanted to, Zhou should be playing an approaching move right here on this Black Stone, so that the Black Stone can no longer create a safety mechanism or a base to prevent it. Now, what Hugh can do is extend out, doing 1 stone steps away until he reaches his group down here. But what we see right now is Hugh is now going to do a large knight's move, so 1, 2, 3 spaces away, approaching Zhao's wall of fortification right here in the top right hand corner. And so Zhao's gonna be like, okay, well, if you're gonna approach, I'm gonna block you off, I'm gonna wall you off. And Hugh's like, you know what, you can wall me off all you want, I'm gonna start extending. Even if you try to extend down here, I'm going to start building this wall right here. And Zhou does see that. Remember, they might be amateur, but they're probably high-level Dawn players, 8 Dawn, 9 Dawn on the amateur rank. So this is by far an easy match, so to speak. These are still experienced players. And so what Zhou's going to do is like, you know what? If you're going to try to cut me off, I'm going to try to block you off. But Zhou comes in with a Hane approach, trying to capture these 2 stones right here. And so Hugh has to respond in kind. And so Hugh's going to do a Tiger's Mouth move, threatening this stone right here. And it's going to force Zhou to connect. Now, Zhou did not connect. There will be an issue because then Zhou pretty much gave up that area for no apparent reason. And so what's going to happen is that, Hugh's most likely going to connect right there exactly, and he does, because that was a threatening cutting point. And so now Hugh has successfully connected his stones right here. Yeah, Zhou can play right here, but that's going to be a dumb move. Not a dumb move, but that's going to be a waste of a move, just because Hugh can easily play right here to threaten Zhao's 1 stone right here. So that's not going to be a very, very good move. Yes, Zhou decides to go down here to fortify his positioning right here, and he's gonna pretty much threaten a peeping move to try to disconnect these 2 stones from this stone right here. As well as have a support base for this 1 stone, because this 1 stone in itself is pretty much used as a sacrificial piece at this moment. There's no way that this stone right now, in the current circumstance, is going to be extremely hard for this stone to connect with the rest of the groups over here. Even if he tries to do a 1 space extension, Zhou can just follow and block him off. So I believe this 1 stone is going to be dead for the time being. At least it's like on the way to being captured. And so what we see right here is Hugh's putting on the pressure on Zhao's piece, because he doesn't like that Zhao's in his current territory. And so Zhou is gonna start a double attaching and start pushing against this corner. He's gonna push Hugh all the way down here and really try to prevent them from expanding out. But I would love to see Hugh start expanding out in this general direction, start causing some aggravation, start invading at these 3-3 positionings right here, to limit the amount of influence Zhou has on the left hand side of the board. Yes, I know the right hand side of the board might be very important right now, but right now you're fighting over influence in the middle region, fine. And also this corner region. If anything, I would give Zhou this little 3 points right down here, and then try to solidify a 8-point territory up here. That's just my opinion. But there's a lot of opening moves right here. It's still left for Hugh to really break through. And right now we see a lot of conflict on Zhou. Zhou is really looking to capture these 3 stones right here. But unfortunately, Hugh is playing a very nice control of this corner piece, threatening these 2 stones right down here on the bottom right hand side of the board. And so Zhou is either going to give up those 2 stones and just build this wall right here and tell Hugh, you take the bottom right hand corner. If you take the bottom right hand corner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build influence on my wall right here and start pushing up this way and to the left. And so and that's essentially what he was going to do. And so Zhao's like, you know what, do that. I'm going to take all of this points. You can keep that tiny bit. I'm going to take this bit. And this is something that Daniel has been, pounding in me right now. Go is the game of surrounding, not the game of capture. The better that your surrounds are, the better your overall game will be. And so that's a lesson that I'm trying to reinforce in my brain right now, and I'm hoping I'm not skewing the lesson, by the way. This is what I remember. But if you guys are new to this channel, Daniel is my mentor in the game of Go. I'm currently a DDK player, but I have been drastically improving my game. My game has improved from a 20k level all the way up to a 13k at this point, and I'm still able to perform evenly in a single digits game. And so there's still some things that I need to work on, but I am getting a lot better, and I'm closing up the gap between a single digit queue and a double digit queue. So and a lot of it has to do with analyzing these pro games too. So I'm hoping that you guys are taking a lot away from this, because I know I am. And so anyways, let's get back to the game, because I didn't mean to go on a tangent right there. But what's happening right now is he was trying to really put a lot of threat on these stones, and these stones are in a very tough position, because this single stone right here is going to play a nice role into the disconnect region. But I don't think this stone is going to play any much more, or a role that much more anymore. We do see that these 4 stones are at a potential threat. If Hugh can find a way to limit the creation of 2 eyes, then these chains of stones might, and there's a small chance, might be captured, but I highly doubt it. I believe these stones are very well connected as of right now, and there's not really a strong way to limit the formation of 2 eyes. And so now what we have right here is Hugh's coming in from the top right hand corner and is trying to extend out. He's going to use this base of influence and try to extend out. And because Zhou has such a strong presence in these regions right here, Zhou can also extend out at the same rate. So it's not really doing Hugh any good, giving Zhou the ability to kind of hopscotch around the middle of the board, especially that Zhou has the left-hand side of the board right here with some stones right there for a later play. So and what we have right here is now Hugh's gaining control of this top right-hand side of the board. But I don't know. Okay, so, you know what? Let's take a tally count. So if I was Hugh right now, if I was to take a tally count of the territories, I know I have this amount of territory-ish. Around that part, I know I have around this little bit of corner right here, maybe a little bit of this influence. And let's see Zhao's territorial influence. So Zhou has this. Zhou might have a little bit of that. But we know that the potential that Zhou might have is this whole entire region right here. Because again, I'm not playing any stones right there. So Zhou right now, I know I can invade, but this is a potential right here. So I'm just going to write potential. I know that if I leave this unguarded, the potential that Zhou might take a huge chunk of points is going to be very high. Versus on the right-hand side, Zhou has already captured a lot of my right-hand side. So if I was in Hugh's positioning right now, my mentality would be more so that I need to start gathering some territory, maybe start extending my base out, trying to gain this top right hand corner, maybe extend on the bottom and try to gain this bottom bit right here, just to reduce the amount of territory that we do see that Zhou is potentially going to get. And so what we do have right here is Hugh is building those eye formation to build this nice wall right here. So Hugh is doing a good job gathering a lot of potential points, and I think that's Hugh's strategy right now. He's like, you know what, I have some influence right now. I can capture some of Zhao's broken territory, and so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I know Zhao's spreading out too much, so if Zhao's going to spread out too much, he's going to spread himself thin. It's like putting very little butter on too much toast kind of thing. You're going to spread that butter too thin on that toast. And so Hugh's like, you know what, I'm going to condense my units. Yes, I might have the chance to extend out, but right now I'm going to condense my units, and having a stronger cluster of units will be a lot better, because Zhou right now is too spread out. I think that's the strategy that he was going for right now. He was playing a very passive game in the beginning, and I think that was his strategy from the beginning of the game. It's like, I'm going to keep my units close and safe to me, and then start expanding out. And so I think that's what's happening right here. And as you can see, these 4 stones are going to be in somewhat of a trouble. And we do have a potential code that could form right here very, very soon if possible. But I don't know. Zhou might need to start paying attention to these stones down here. But what we do see is Hugh's now tanuking away and trying to extend his influence. And he might go in for the extension right here, or might go in for the connection extension right there. But no, he decides to go in for the cut, threatening this move right here, this piece right here, with a potential capture. And so that might force Zhou to connect, which indeed he does. But again, this is gonna be somewhat of an issue. These 2 stones are having a lot of pressure. These 4 stones are now going to have a lot of pressure. And so there's a lot of pressure going on with Zhou right now. And it looks like Hugh is commanding a lot. But if you look at Hugh's forces, yes, he is putting a lot of pressure on those stones, but they're pretty much broken up into 3 groups right here. Okay, it's pretty much broken up into 3 main groups. So what we have right now is Hugh going in for that 3-3 invasion on the top left-hand corner. Like I said, this is still a potential move that Hugh can do. And so Hugh's going to do that, and potentially we might see a Joseki pattern right here where Zhao's going to extend out. Hugh's probably going to extend this way, moving 1 space to the right as a typical Joseki pattern, which he does. And then Zhao might try to cap him off, and then there might be an extension this way. Okay, there might be an extension that way, but we'll see how Zhao plays. And Zhao does play the Joseki pattern, and we'll see what Hugh does. Most likely Hugh's going to play here, Zhao's going to extend out, Hugh's going to play here, and then Zhao's going to probably cap in, and then Hugh's going to connect or defend. And that's exactly what he does, and this is a 3-3 invasion Joseki. So if you guys are brand new to the game, go on OGS. There's a lot of tools available for you to start learning Joseki patterns. And so this is a very interesting Joseki pattern right here. Zhao did not play the common Joseki. He played the more variant Joseki pattern. And so what we have right here is going to be a Tiger's Cut. And this is going to allow Zhao to have a good wall influence right here, while pretty much containing Hugh into this top left-hand corner. Most likely Zhao's going to probably build an Atari point right here, and it's going to force Hugh to play on this bottom position right here. And so most likely Hugh's going to play right here. Otherwise, Hugh has to play down here to prevent Zhao from pretty much reducing his territory. And it does seem like Hugh is going to capture this 1 stone right here, and Zhao's going to probably follow this up with an extension down here and threatening these 2 stones to give Hugh this amount of influence over here on this top right hand-ish side of the board. And so Zhao is pretty much saying, this territory is mine now. You're not going to take that territory. That is completely mine. What I can do is cap you off right here and start threatening your stones right here. And that's exactly what we're trying to see Zhao trying to do right now. And Zhao's going to play a surrounding move, first threatening this stone right here to try to throw off Hugh's attention towards this single stone, which I don't think is going to happen. If anything, Hugh might play up here, or he might Tanuki out, which he does Tanuki out. And so Hugh's going to Tanuki out and try to gain some influence elsewhere. And so now Zhao is going to go for a kick. Hugh might extend upwards to the top right here, exactly, which is going to allow Zhao to now make a move. Either he's going to go in for the pincer, or he's going to start reinforcing his barrier down here. Or he Tanukis out, but he's going to go in for that pincer move, and this is going to prevent Hugh from creating a secondary base right here to box in this amount of territory. So now Hugh has to find a way to do a surrounding position, gain more influence in the center, because now Zhao is doing a pincer type of formation. And so with the pincer type formation, Zhao now has to find a way to reinforce this stone. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of a move if Zhao plays right here and not reinforce it. So Zhao's going to extend out 1 space away to build his fortification support units right here. And Zhao might extend another unit away to connect the groups to these 2 stones. But in case he doesn't do that, he decides to go for a knight's move away, oscillating on that 3-4 positioning right here, and to try to gain this territory right here. So if we take a tally point right now, Hugh has a lot of influence in the center right now. He does have a lot of strength right here with these stones right now, trying to capture the influential middle ground of the map. But with that being said, let's take a tally point on the positioning of both players. Well, Zhou really does have this top left-hand corner right here. Hugh might have this little bit right here, as well as this top bit over here. Okay, and Zhou, let's see, Zhou does have this. Hugh has this bottom bit, and Zhou looks like he has this big bit right here, as well as this little corner right here. Okay, and so if we take a look at the territorial positioning of both players, it looks like Zhou might be catching up. Hugh might be ahead by a couple points, but if all territory right here from Zhou is considered to be their territory, Zhou is going to be ahead by quite a hefty amount of points, especially when Zhou does have an additional 7.5 points in their bank right from the start. And so what we see right here is Zhou is now going to go in for that fortification, using this wall right here as a support, because this wall is pointing downwards, trying to extend down. And so we might see a potential disconnect, and most likely Zhou might play right here to connect these stones and cut off those two stones from each other. Zhou doesn't want Hugh, however, to connect these stones to each other, and so Zhou is playing a very interesting move, trying to defend these stone of influences right here, and trying to contain Hugh from gaining this whole entire territory. And you know, Hugh sees that, so Hugh's going to do everything they can to try to box in Zhao's extension right here. And so we see so many fights going on, and you know, he was like, you know what, Zhou, if you're gonna extend out this way, I'm gonna start extending this way, trying to save my try to put pressure on your two stones right here. I know that you can't protect them. I know I have influence right here. I know they're disconnected from this group, so if anything, I'm gonna try to capture you. But honestly, this is an Atari race, not an Atari race, sorry, a Liberty race, because you know, Hugh only has 2 liberties right here versus Zhou has 3 plus 1 is 4 liberties. So for Hugh to capture these 3 stones is going to be near impossible, just because of how many open liberties he has currently. And so I don't know. That might not bode very well. And now he was going in for the disconnect from these 2 groups right here. But Zhao's gonna just connect right here and disconnect his stones from here. Yes, Hugh might extend up here to try to contain these 2 stones, because you know, any extension that they do, it's gonna be a very tough extension. But I don't think that's a good move, Hugh. I don't know. I think Zhao can just extend up here, putting pressure on your stones right here, and then eventually put a lot of pressure on these groups of 5 stones. But Zhao is gonna start threatening for that double Atari move right here. But Zhao is gonna have a little threat on these 2 stones right here, which is gonna force him to play a connecting move or a capture. Just go ahead and capture. Go ahead and capture. I didn't see that, Atari. Go ahead and capture. And so it's gonna go ahead and capture and connecting these groups of stones right here. And so it's now Hugh is going to play a force move, forcing Zhao to connect these 2 groups of stones together. And that's exactly what Zhao's going to do. But this allows Hugh to start expanding outwards into the center of the map. And it did limit Zhao's potential eye making right here. And this is a very interesting move, because this is an empty triangle formation, but this is the only way that Zhao can escape. I think maybe one step away might have worked as well. Potentially. No, it might not have worked. Never mind. There's too much influence elsewhere. Yeah, that wouldn't have worked. So excuse me. But what we do see is now a surround in this top right hand corner. So this top right hand corner is posing to be very, very, very pressurized right now. Hugh is coming in for the overall capture in these top left hand corner. But I don't think he can, because these 3 stones are in a Atari position. And Zhao can easily come in and capture those and create 2 eyes if need be. I don't think Hugh would be able to capture Zhao's pieces on that top left-hand corner. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. Whew, man. And so this is a fairly long game, by the way. I think this game goes up to around 270 something moves, and so we're only on move 135 right now. And so we are like what, 20 minutes into the game, and so there's a lot more that can happen in this game. But what I'm seeing right now is Zhou is having a nice connection on all of their stones. Hugh is doing a great job trying to contain Zhou, but I don't think Hugh is going to win this top corner right here. I think that is Zhou's territory. And so now Hugh, I would like to see Hugh try to, do an extension, try to grab more territory elsewhere, build influence in the middle as well, try to gather as much influence right here. Perhaps doing a connection move with this stone compared to the rest of the stones might also be really good. I would love to see an extension from this single stone right here, because this stone is really at a vulnerable position. And so right here we do see Hugh trying to extend out, trying to get the extension in territory right here. And so what we're going to see is either a connection or an extension right here. And so we do see a connection. And so every point counts in this game. And if I had to choose at this moment in time for the players, I think Zhou is winning. I really think Zhou is winning. Zhou has a lot of influence right here in the center right here, as well as potentially up here. Zhou can just extend right here and start extending out with territory. Zhou does have this whole territory right here, as well as this territory up here. And so Zhou looks like Zhou can have a lot more play extending out into this territory right here, pushing into the center right here, capturing these stones right here. There's so much more potential for Zhou than Hugh right now. I think honestly I would be in favor of Zhou. Hugh does have a lot of territory right now off the bat, but the potential for Zhou to just overtake this game, I still think Zhou has a better position at this moment in time. Now, granted, Hugh might come back, might play a devastating move, cutting through Zhou's corner in the bottom right here. And if that happens, then Hugh will have the commanding lead of this overall match. But it's fairly even at this moment. But I still favor Zhou's positioning. And like I said, Zhou, all he has to do is connect right here to connect these stones, and that's exactly what Zhou's trying to do. These stones right here are essentially connected to each other, and I don't think there's a way that Hugh can break through that. Zhou's just now reinforcing their positioning right here, and this is still mid-game play. So there's still a lot of movement that can be made. But if we do take a look at the territorial wall, this is essentially, a strong positioning. And like I said, what Zhou can do is start trying to gain some territory in the middle. And this is exactly why I would have loved Hugh to start extending out, connecting these three stones right here. But I think at this moment in time, it's too late for Hugh to do anything of that sort, because now Zhou has such a strong force right here. I think this is territory of Zhou. Okay, and so Hugh's doing everything they can to try to limit Zhou's extension, limit Zhou's influence right here. And so this is a good move on their part, but Zhou can extend up, Zhou can extend down, Zhou can take this territory right here. So this is not going to be a capture at all. But Hugh better be careful. This is still considered one piece of the leg, and if Zhou can do a very good commanding move and limit Hugh from creating that two eyes, this whole entire leg will eventually die, and it's going to force Hugh to connect at this point in time. Okay, and so there's a lot of disconnection moves for this overall chain, and I would love to see Zhou try to go for something like that really soon. And so what we do see is this co-positioning. Now this is a strong co-fight. Whoever wins this co-fight pretty much wins this side of the board. And so Hugh has to have some threatening moves right here, which he does, and it's going to divert Zhao's attention away. So most likely Zhao is going to connect right here, and then it's going to allow Hugh to come back over here, recapturing the ko. Okay, and so Hugh's going to come back, recapture this ko right now, and then Zhao now has to do a threatening position, and most likely Zhao is gonna start doing the disconnection moves. I do see that's going to happen. Either play here, to start putting a lot of pressure on these top corners. But no, Zhou decides to come in, put a lot of pressure on this leg right here, as well as extending their territory to the north right here. And it's going to take Hugh's position away, and Zhou is most likely going to come back and capture this stone again, not going to allow Hugh to close off that code, because again, this is a very important code. This is a make or break situation. If Hugh can defend successfully that code, I think Hugh has came back from the game. And so Hugh does see a lot of potential disconnect. And like I said, these two positioning are very strong positioning for Zhou. And Zhou sees that, and Zhou has to give up. Hugh's probably going to recapture the positioning right here, and Zhou is most likely going to try to do something to disconnect this overall leg right here. And if Zhou fails to disconnect this leg, essentially this whole entire area is going to live. And so Zhou is most likely going to give this up. I don't think there is a way to disconnect this whole entire leg right here. Zhou did have the opportunity earlier to connect right here, and I think Zhou should have taken that, but Zhou did not. And so what's going to happen right here is Zhou's going to keep putting on the pressure, because this is another potential ko right here. And so Hugh's going to play elsewhere, try to put pressure on here. Zhou's most likely going to come back, recapture that stone, and then it's going to allow Hugh to come back here to recapture the ko. Oh my gosh, this game. And so what's going to happen right here is, I don't know, most likely Hugh's going to recapture the ko right here. Indeed, Hugh does. And now Zhou has to find another way to put a threat to the positioning. And most likely, Zhou might... I would love to see Zhou capture this top right-hand corner, but I don't think Zhou can. And so now Zhou's just going to start gaining influence in the center of the map. And Hugh is like, you know what? I'm going to solidify the ko, and I'm going to capture that stone right there. So now Hugh has successfully solidified this positioning, but Zhou can always come in and start putting pressure over here. But I don't know. I think now Hugh has successfully defended this overall ko positioning right here. And so let's take a tally count to see who's in the lead. So it looks like Hugh is going to try to capture this overall area right here. Zhou has this area. Hugh has this area now. Hugh also has this amount of territory, but Zhou is alive in this territory right here. Hugh does have this whole entire area right here. Zhou has this whole corner. Zhou has this whole center. Zhou also has this whole area down here. And so if we take a look at it, I think Zhou is still ahead by quite a margin. Yes, Hugh captured this whole entire top right hand corner, but Zhou did capture this whole top left hand, bottom left hand corner, as well as the top left hand corner. And so I still favor Zhou's positioning, because Zhou still looks like they're in command of the overall game. And Zhou, just based on captures alone, is ahead by 5.5 points just on captures alone. Okay. And so, you know, Hugh does see that Zhou might potentially be winning. So Hugh's going to try to reduce as much as they can. But I don't know. My hands are clean in this, because I really don't know what's going to happen. Really. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And so this is going to be a very interesting match. Yeah, no, I think that now we're heading towards the end game, and now we're going to start seeing the solidification of points. And there's going to be a lot of neutral points, and I believe the neutral points are going to play a nice role. And so every point counts in this game, because the game is really, really even. It's more so in favor of Zhou, but I think Hugh, if Hugh can manage to successfully gather all that neutral positioning, I think Hugh might be able to win. Just by a point or two. So it really depends on how the territory is extended, how much they're able to contain in this match. And so we just have to wait and see. But right now, if and this is a big if if Hugh can somehow play in this positioning and disconnect these 5 stones, I think that will be a big move, because right now, if he's able to completely disconnect these 5 stones and these 2 stones from each other, Hugh now has this whole entire middle region. Right now, Hugh doesn't have the middle region because these are still considered to be neutral. These 2 stones, 3 stones right here are still connected to these stones right here. So if Hugh is able to find a way to disconnect this overall group, I think that will be a big positioning for him. Okay, so we just have to wait and see. It's going to be very hard to disconnect these stones from each other, but Hugh might have to play like a disconnection move here or a disconnection move here to try to prevent that from happening. But I don't know. I really don't know. This is a toughie. Maybe Hugh might have to do a position right here, forcing the move down here, or forcing a connecting move right here, and then do all of that shenanigans right there. But I don't think Hugh's able to recapture this positioning. And so now we are into the end game. We're starting to see the finalization of the points. And so, oh my gosh. So guys, if you guys have a play that Hugh or Zhou should have done, I honestly think Zhou had the chance to disconnect this whole entire positioning right here in that mid game shenanigans right here during the Ko fight. I think if Zhou was able to successfully defended this area right here, I think Zhou would have been in a commanding lead. But nonetheless, that being said, that's just my opinion. That being said, Zhou is in a very good position right here in this overall middle part of the board. And what we do see right here is that there is no formation of 2 eyes. So if somehow, Zhao is able to capture this overall stone right here, it's going to do a forcing move right here. And there's still a lot of disconnection points right here, but this is deep into the territory of Hugh. I don't think that Zhao can do too much. But right now, Zhao is going to try to disconnect these 2 stones, but Hugh's not going to fall for that. Hugh already has several eye positioning. He can just connect right here. That's not going to do too much in regards to the overall group right here. So yeah. Yep. So what we're going to see right here is just a solidification of the positionings right now. Yeah, and this is a bamboos joint right here, so Hugh cannot, or Zhao cannot come in and put any threatening moves right here unless Zhao is able to threaten this positioning right here. Maybe Zhao can come in right here, forcing a peeping move right here and a blockage right here, maybe, or a disconnection move right here, maybe, just maybe. But I highly doubt it. These are high level gameplay. Maybe at a DDK level that might work, but at a Dawn level play style, I don't think it's going to work that well. And so what we're having right now is just a solidification of the games itself. So guys, if you guys are liking this, if you guys are liking this and liking these professional matchups, if you have a professional match that you guys would like me to go over, please send me the SGF file or send me the YouTube or the, not YouTube link, but the Go for Go link, and then I'll try to make it happen. And so, this is annoying me. I am like not centered right there. There we go. Now we're centered again. And so, but if you guys do have one, do let me know. We're gonna see right here is Zhao's gonna come in and try to defend the extension point right there. And that's exactly what we have. And so if you guys have any, do let me know. If you guys have a game that you would like me to cast, do let me know as well. And so we do have, if I was to say what style of gameplay this is, Zhao was extremely aggressive, just going at it really aggressively. And Zhao's playstyle is very Korean-esque. A lot of the Korean styles I've seen so far do play more aggressively, do go for more of the invasion type points. Hugh, on the other hand, did play a very defensive game, a very peaceful, tried to be a very peaceful game, but that didn't work with Zhao. And so I think Zhao just capitalized on that and just totally dominated. that positioning. That early invasion was a very good move on Zhao's part, and I think in this game right now, Zhao is ahead right now, and so Zhao does have a nice commanding lead in this corner right here, this bottom, this bit right here, this bit right here, as well as this whole top left hand corner, as well as this bit right there. And so I don't know. I think Zhao's in the lead. I still think Zhao's in the lead. Hugh does have this humongous corner right here, humongous corner over here. You know what? Maybe Hugh's in the lead. This corner right here, maybe Hugh's in the lead. But if Zhao's able to somehow capture this whole area right here, all of that, because they are fairly disconnected. If Zhao's able to connect all of that and this, maybe, oh man, I don't know who's in the lead anymore. I was thinking that Zhao would be in the lead, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm not too sure. Huh. But that's a very interesting move that Hugh played right here. Hugh's playing, maybe he just captured a piece right here. And so now Hugh is going to start playing the ko threat again. But this isn't a very big ko. It really isn't a very big ko. If anything, other positionings might be more important. Even if Zhao tries to take it back, it doesn't really do much for Zhao. It just gives him 1 point. And might potentially get invasion in the corner, but again, Hugh can always just capture this piece. So I don't know. And Hugh is trying to disconnect these 5 stones from these 5 stones over here. But that is deep in Zhao's territory. So I'm not too sure if Hugh's able to. Maybe. Wow, this is amazing. Hugh is now going for super aggressive tactics. Huh. Is Hugh in the lead now? That's so interesting. And now Zhao's coming in and trying to take this top. There's so many ko's. Oh my gosh. How many ko's are there now? Now there's 1, there's 2, and now Hugh successfully finished the ko by connecting those pieces right here. Okay. So this whole bottom corner is now solidified, and now Zhao's coming in and threatening this overall stone. Oh my gosh, if Zhao's able to connect those stones, oh, Zhao. Uh-oh. Hugh can just connect it, or Zhao can just capture it. Zhao might be able to capture that. Oh no. Zhao might be able to capture. Oh, okay. Oh, this is a tough round. I think Zhao's looking to come in for the kill right here. This branch. If Zhao's able to come in and complete the ko and really start taking over, we might see Zhao just take command of the lead. Most likely, Zhao's going to come in and recapture this? Yeah. Ooh, the ko battles are real, guys. The ko battles are real. And so, oh my gosh. It's Zhao's doing everything they can. They're going to disconnect. Like I said, this is the move. This is the move right here. If Zhao's able to disconnect this, or Hugh's able to disconnect that, Zhao is going to be in such big trouble. Right here. Yeah. This move is going to be a very important move later. Zhao's going to reconnect, and it's going to force Hugh to play elsewhere. Where can Hugh play? Maybe Hugh can play up here? Yeah? No. Hugh decides to go in for another extension on the bottom. Man, my camera's just slipping today. There we go. Okay. Do that. There we go. And then, oh my gosh, Hugh's going to come over here. Oh my gosh. And Zhao finally reconnects and finishes off the ko. But that allows Hugh to solidify this positioning and come in here to threaten this extension over here. Oh my gosh. Oh, this game. There's still so much conflict, and exactly, Hugh decides to reconnect that. Oh my gosh, this game, guys. You know, I'm just in amaze by how codes work. You know, when I first started DDKs, or when I first started playing Go, I didn't understand the concept of code and how codes can be so powerful. But just looking at this, code can just take command of the overall game, forcing your opponent to make a decision, either protect A or defend B. It's always that fork in the road, that crossroad, and it's like, you know, if you wanna sacrifice this whole area, you're more than welcome to, but I'm going to gain influence in this other area. So codes are an extremely powerful tool as long as you have some defensive threats that you can impose onto your opponent. And so this, oh my gosh, this game. Oh, this game is amazing. So there is a lot of movement right now, a lot of defense, and now both players are now solidifying their territories, and they both have equal number of captures. Hugh just caught up with a total number of captures from Zhou, so it's like they're starting a brand new game in terms of capture points. And but wow, Zhao's influence is really reduced. I mean, look at Hugh. Hugh commands this whole entire top area right here, as well as this bottom area. And this is Zhao's area, as well as this area, right? As well as this area. In this area. Okay. Hugh, I think Hugh has a little bit of that area. Wow, this is such a close game. I can't tell who's in the lead and who's not. I really can't tell. With that 7.5 additional points, I honestly think Zhao might be still ahead by 7.5 points. I think Zhao's ahead by 7. I think the area is so even for both players. That I think this really does come down to this 7.5 points right here. That 7.5 points, I think it comes down to that. This is such an even game. But I still think Zhao's ahead. Just looking, I mean, Hugh has come back so much from capturing this overall top right-hand corner. Hugh did an amazing job capturing that top right-hand corner and this bottom right-hand corner. Oh my gosh. And we're just hitting into the final movements of the game. We're hitting into the final movements of the game. And so, oh my gosh. And I think Hugh knows that every point counts. So Hugh's going to try to capture every neutral point they can to try to close out that gap. And I think Hugh understands that this is an incredibly tight match right now. Wow, what a game. And I think Zhao is going to play one more move. Where's Zhao going to play? Where's the other neutral positioning? I don't know where the other neutral positioning is. Right here. Okay, to solidify this area. And I think Hugh might extend out. Maybe no. Hugh is gonna just finalize that neutral position. And I think that is game, set, and match. And so I still think Zhao might be ahead by the komi, by the amount of komi. I think this is such an even match. So let's take a look at the estimated score. All right, so let's take a look at the estimated score. And there you have it. Here is the territory for Zhao right there. This whole territory right here. This whole entire area, like we said earlier, is going to be Zhao's. This whole area right here in the center of the map is Zhao's territory, as well as this whole corner, right-hand corner right here is a territory of Zhao's. And so if we look at that, this is such an incredible match. And the computer is now stating that Zhao is the winner of this match by 9.5 points. So if you subtract the 7.5 points komi that Zhao was given at the beginning of the game, Zhao technically won this match by 2 points. 2 territorial points. That's it. And that is an amazing match. Oh my gosh. So that's an amazing match. I mean, Zhao won by 9.5 points. 2 territorial difference. I mean, back then, if this was like no extra komi allowed at all, Zhao still won by 2 points. And so this, guys, this was an amazing match. I really learned a lot from Hugh and Zhao's playstyle, even though Hugh and Zhao's playstyle was extremely sporadic in the right hand side and the left hand. I honestly think Hugh could have done more with invasion on the left hand corner if Hugh followed the typical Joseki pattern and captured this bit right here. Yes, Zhao might have captured this bit right here, but that would have given Hugh a lot more presence to extend down this way, in my opinion. But oh my gosh. So guys, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did like this match, please leave a comment below on what your favorite move was. And if you did like it, please, if you haven't done already, subscribe, share this video, like this video. This does help our channel grow. And this is what we're trying to do, is to build Go as a community and try to, you know, spread this love of this game to the rest of the world, because this is such a very it's such a great game. And so I really do hope to spread the awareness of this game, the popularity. I hope that this game does rise. But if you guys did like it, please leave a comment, like the video, and share it if you guys can, to help this sport out, so to speak. So all right, until next time, guys, see you guys in the next Go commentary.